Derrick James, he was saying that because I believe it was Lance Pugmire or somebody else was saying that, he was asking Jamel Charlo, what do you think of Brian Castaño now that you've seen him? You think he was the toughest fight? And Derrick James said, no, no, no. He don't think that Brian Castaño was Jamal Charlo's toughest fight. He thought that Tony Harrison was. Now, if you do recall, Tony Harrison beat Jamal Charlo and was beating him up also in the second fight. And he was fighting him on the inside in the second fight, whereas he's fighting him on the outside in the first. Now, Tony Harrison, I'm going to be real with you guys, okay? I hear what Coach Derrick James is saying in terms of skill. Um, but I disagree with Coach Derrick James in the sense that Tony Harrison don't really have a chin. Tony Harrison has been knocked out a number of times. Um, I mean, Jamel Charlo can crack, but Tony Harrison is a very good fighter. But Tony Harrison don't got no chin, and he does make mistakes, and that's how he gets hurt. Obviously, Brian Castaño, you ain't knocking him out. You just not knocking out Brian. You know what I mean? Um, and Brian, I think, has better defense than Tony Harrison. Now he's saying that how Castaño was trapping Jamal in the corner, and it was when Jamal wasn't moving, when he was still, that Castaño was having success. I sort of agree with that in the sense that Castaño was freezing Charlo. So what Castaño was doing, he was faint as if he's coming this way, faint he's coming that way, and he's pushing Charlo to the corner. He's feinting, he's using precise footwork, and he's pushing Charlo to the corner, right? And once he gets him in the corner now, he's fainting. Then he sets him up when he thinks he has the opening. When he knows what Charlo's going to do, he sets him up with the opening, and he launches his attack. Okay. Now, quite frankly, um, I think Castaño, me personally, I'm not. I mean, Jamel would be able to better tell people if he's very honest. Me personally, I thought Castaño was the toughest fight that Jamel ever had, and Castaño didn't get the decision. He should have, but he did. He didn't get the decision with Arislandi Lara either. He should have, but he did. Castaño to me is a tough competitor. Jamel's saying how he's gonna knock out Castaño in the next fight that they had in the rematch. And I'm gonna be real with Jamel. I'm gonna let him know, Jamel, there are times when you can't knock out fighters. You're not gonna be able to knock out opponents. This is one of those guys you're not knocking out, right? You forget about that idea. What you have to do is you gotta box real smart and you gotta be first. The one thing that Jamel's not doing is being first. You gotta be first against a guy like that. This guy knows how to slip a jab. He knows how to get past a jab. He knows how to trick you into, he baits you into throwing shots, and then he can come up with his shots. So he's not your run of the mill kind of dude. Okay, these guys from Argentina, they always special. He's not a run of the mill kind of dude. The thing with Castaño is he needs to pick more of his punches. What I mean by that is once he gets within range, instead of throwing combination after combination, really blitzing a guy, sometimes he needs to pick his shots and set up his body shots. Sometimes sidestep Charlo, etc., etc. Charlo needs to do the same thing. If he sees Castaño's coming to him, he needs to body check Castaño, meaning use his lead hand to find out where Castaño is. And wherever Castaño goes, he can easily counter it with a counter-wise movement. So he needs to work on body checking, or as I say, using the lead hand, collapsing it, and just moving with the body of the person that's there. She closed the distance. I like how Charlo was trying to close the distance, like he would move in to Castaño when Castaño starts throwing his combinations, cramping for space, push him off, body him off with the lead hand. So there's all these little tricks in boxing. All right, I don't think Castaño's going to knock out Charlo. I don't think Charlo's going to knock out Castaño. I think they're going to have another barn burner. But again, if Castaño's winning the majority of rounds, give Castaño the fight. Castaño should have won this fight. Okay, I don't think it's going to come back to haunt him because Castaño's that good. Okay, and if y'all haven't realized that, now people are saying that Charlo took the last 3 rounds. That's not true. He took 10 and 11. Castaño set him straight in 12. Okay, so Castaño took the 12. After Castaño took the majority of the rounds, and again, it was mainly because he was able to land on Charlo, not just pressure him, not just throw punches. Yeah, he was more active than Charlo. That don't mean nothing. He was able to outland Charlo. He was landing more punches than Charlo was landing. on Charlo. And Charlo was keeping the jab in his face and stuff. But even then, Castaño was picking off the jab. All right. Castaño's not your average guy. I said again, this dude has a lot of skills and some skills that other fighters just don't have. Some people were saying Charlo needed to try to throw the uppercut to keep Castaño off. Now, Castaño's got what you call the turtle shell, also known as I forgot what it's called, but it's something that George Foreman, Archie Moore, all these guys use, and that nullifies an uppercut. It nullifies an uppercut. Okay, and Castaño got that in his arsenal. You can't hit Castaño just like that with body punches. You can't hit Castaño in his face. Even though he's using the high guard, he's mixing it up with other guards. So Castaño is a very difficult fighter. You know, somebody kind of like Castaño, but he was still not as good as Castaño. Dimitri Pirog give you several different looks, but he's an aggressive fighter. So Brian Castaño is a very difficult fighter. If Jamel's going to go in for a rematch, he and Derrick James need to sit down real carefully because I'm hearing people talking like, they don't want to really have this rematch and they're going to be some mandatories. And you can see that the people who sort of manage Jamel's like, hey, you don't want to really face this dude again. But Jamel, if I know Jamel, he's going to try and go back there and try and stop Castaño, But power is not everything. And Jamel needs to understand now that he's faced Castaño, this dude, he's got very good defense. And Jamel's got very good defense, but Castaño was landing on him more than he was landing on Castaño. So, Brian's he's not a walkover. He's not a pushover. You're not going to get him out of there just like that. He buzzed Castaño in round two, but Castaño was still collective and everything. And so Castaño just answered him with the right hand. And that's when Jamel stopped. He stopped trying to press. What caused Jamel to stop pressing in round 11 and 12 was Castaño's counterpunching. Okay? So, I just wanted to say, I personally think Castaño beat Jamel. They didn't give him the decision, like what happened with Tony Harris. Again, probably because of the way how Jamel behaved with the Tony Harrison thing. I thought Tony Harrison beat Jamel. So, quite frankly, I think that Brian Castaño showed that you can pressure a boxer, and he did. And Jamel's a strong guy, a very strong guy. Probably stronger than Brian, but Brian's pretty sturdy himself. Brian's got really good defense. So tighten up the defense. Brian Castaño just needs to tighten up his defense, and he also needs to use his footwork, like work around, move around Jamel, sidestep him, and that kind of stuff. Mix it up a little bit more. Be a little bit more dynamic. But Jamel needs to also work on his footwork and also on the inside. Particularly on the inside, he needs to know how to fight on the inside a little bit better. But that's basically what I got for now. I just wanted to talk about that because I disagree with Derrick James in terms of Harrison being better than Castaño. I don't think so. Castaño should have won this fight. He should have won this fight. And that would have more than showed that he was on Harrison's level. But they gave him a draw. They gave him a draw for this fight and gave him a draw for Harrison Lars. He was in the A side, so it is what it is. But Jamel need to know he in with a super live dog when he's dealing with Castaño. Anyway, that's all I got for now. What you need in the building. Saying peace. I'm out. If you haven't watched my breakdown in the previous video, you can go check it out. Peace.